Hello friends, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Sen. I am an artist and designer and this is my little place on the internet for cross stitch. I hope you've all been well. It's been 2 weeks since we saw us last, so I hope you got a lot of stitching done. I hope you've been healthy and yeah. So have we. As you can see, I am back in my previous space. This time it is just me again. Let me know if you want to see Mura. I'm pretty sure I can bring him back once he has an update of his own. But what have I been up to in these past 2 weeks? I have done a lot of stitching and I also have a few new starts again, because as we know, I cannot get rid of the startitis. But yeah, let's start with what I've been working on. Like last time, those projects that I actually had shown in my previous 2 floss tubes, when I had started taking pictures of them, of where they were previously. I will add pictures either here or probably there of what they looked before, so you can see what I've managed to do since you saw it last. I do not have that for all of the projects I worked on, since I am still working on my note-taking and my record keeping, so some of them will not have any before pictures, but they will get pictures this time, so the next time you see them there will be before pictures of them as well. But yes, without further ado, if I look over here, that's where I am keeping my notes. So I will have, and there's also where my projects are at, so I will have to grab them. What have I been working on? Let's see. And these are in no particular order. I just grabbed them from my word. That's also a theme from my shelf where I have all my cross stitch stored currently. So this is what it looks like now. I have done, let me grab and I forgot this again, let me grab something to put behind. It's the good thing that I'm filming at my desk. I always have paper laying around. Oops. So this is where I'm at. I have done the second part, like these 2 letters here, and I have filled in this tree and half of this tree. And when it's finished, it's going to, let me show you I think I printed out the cover picture for it. This is what it's gonna look like. It was one of my Mania starts. It is from the Cross Stitch of the Earth book by Emma Congdon. So this is basically the second time that I worked on it. First time since Mania, I think. I don't think I touched it in between. So that is that one. The next one I worked on, let me put this somewhere else. So, and there is a zipper. Because of the cats, I unfortunately cannot always unzip everything. The next one I worked on is this project here. And it is by Studio Ancitro. She has her own website. I don't think she's on Etsy, at least I have not found an Etsy shop. And I have done, let me see, this is also one of the very few projects I am working on that is not on Ada. This is where it's at. And previously I had most of this tree done, so I filled in the last few missing bits. I think there was one leaf missing in the tree. I filled that in. And I did this part of the sky and the start of the raven and the roof. So that is where this one is at. And it is, this one is living in a project bag I made. I think I showed that earlier on my Instagram. It's just cannot see very well because I put it back in here, in there. So you can see this has like a little bit of sort of a Halloween-y fabric inside. Oh, this should work. Yes, can see it like this. Which I made last week. And it has a little raven on it. And this is a start. Let's do these last. Let's put them on behind. Next one I worked on is the dragon. I didn't do much on him these past 2 weeks because I was prioritizing other projects. So there will just be a tiny update on this. Let's see, how do I do this? This is the whole, oops, this way, how far I am on it. And I worked a bit more in the sky up here. And for this I will put a picture of what it looked before. It's just, I just basically did, I think, the bottom 3 or 4 boxes here. So not too much. So let's put this one away. I'm trying to close the zippers as far away from my camera as possible, so I don't have to hear them. So the next one I worked on is this one. This is from Tiny Modernist. I'm pretty sure it was a freebie on their website. And this is how far I am. Finished filling in the house. These are like tiny projects that I like to do in between when I don't have as much time in the evening to stitch. Oops, something fell and I do not know. Oh, that was the cover that made its way all the way down to the bottom of my desk. So next one I worked on, another zipper, is this one, which I think is from the Cross Stitcher scenery collection, but it is not on my printout. So, and this is how far I am with this. And I didn't do much on this either. I just continued down a little bit here in the trees. This also just got a tiny bit of work done. And this is what most of my whips are. When I pull them out, I just work on them a tiny bit. So time for a coffee break. before it gets cold. So next one is and I have been thinking about making a notebook or a notion of some sort where I actually put in the amount of stitches I do, and I think I will, over these weeks in between where I show where my project's at and everything, so I think I will actually try that and see how well that goes, because I have started a notebook where I put in what I stitch on what day, like a monthly calendar. And that works fine. I sometimes forget to put in there what I stitched, but most of the time that works. So maybe that will help my record keeping. And also, I mean, I can show you. This is what that looks like. So it's basically just a monthly calendar where I write in what I worked on. So maybe this will work. We'll see. I'm gonna try, but then I can give you a lot more statistics, and I know some of you like that, which is fine. I find it really interesting to see how much I did, and I would do that as well if I was better at numbers and keeping track of things. But it might be a good exercise for me to get more organized. Next one I worked on is this one. This is a pattern that I made for my first Dungeons and Dragons character. Unfortunately, their story will not be continued. We stopped playing that game, but we will start a new one very soon. So while I am sad that I no longer get to play with this character, I will still give him love in my cross stitch. So that is where I'm at. Oops. I filled in most of his face, so this is coming along nicely. And I think it's at somewhere around half done, I think 40% or so. So we're getting there with this. And I'm gonna try to make this a finish this year, we will see. I want to get at least a few finishes this year with all of the whips that I have. And I will probably be shocked when I do an end of the year whip parade in December, how many whips I actually have, because at some point I stopped counting, which is maybe also something that would be helpful to have like a notion for. We'll see. The next one I worked on, and despite wanting to not fall behind, I am already very far behind, is the Owl Forest Treasure Island Stitch Along. So this is where I'm at. And what I've done is not much. Again, I have started on this golden border here, just on one evening, giving it a little bit of love. And I think I filled in a little bit of the over here, of the blue over here, and the top of the roof of the house. But I really need to get back to this because I'm so far behind. It's ridiculous. And I really love this. It's a lot of fun to do. So maybe I'll leave this out and work on it today. So let's put this here on this side. Next one, which I'm not sure if I showed that already last time. I think I did, because this is not a new start. I started just a few weeks ago. So I probably showed it in my last costume. I'll have to check. Fantasy Home by Artisy. This is one of the mid-sized, or I'd actually say a small to mid-sized full coverages that I'm working on. I think this one even has a... Yes. That's the thing, I started that last month, the end of last month. So it's still fairly new. Let me try to get this out without pulling out all of the millions of flosses that are in there. So this is where I'm at. I think when I last showed it, it was just the top corner, so I worked a little bit along this part here, I think, and down this part, the green of the forest or trees in the back. This is also something I enjoy working on a lot, so this will probably get a lot of love. I mean, I enjoy working on all of my whips, and I'm trying to get a few of the older ones back out that haven't seen any love in a while. So while trying to not to start too many things, but it's really hard because I always see, since I still am a fairly new stitcher, I think I'm coming up on the end of my second year at the end of this year, since I started again. So there's so many things that I want to stitch, and it's really hard not to start everything. And I'm trying really hard. So let's see, what else do we have? And now for the new starts. It's 3 of them, so I have tried to show restraint. So we have, let's see, what do we have here? And where is it from? So this one, which I started because, as you may have seen in one of my previous floss tubes, I have a cat who looks exactly like this. He's my little baby. So I saw this and I was like, yep, that is something I need to stitch. So unfortunately, oh yeah, there it is. It is from the Cross Stitch Gold magazine, though I do not know which issue it is. I started this last week, I think, on the 14th. I think that was last week. And I am stitching this on this, let me grab on this piece of Ada, which I assume is 22 count or something like that. And I've tried something new for me. Well, not really new, I've done it before, but I haven't done it in a while. Doing it. But yeah, this is where I am. Just at the bottom corner. Let me try to get this closer. There you go. This is 1/1 full cross, which I haven't done in a while. But I do like it on this size. And the reason why I'm not going with my usual 10 stitch, I'm actually not sure why I'm not going with 10 stitch. Probably because this has French knots and back stitch, so I think with full crosses it's actually going to be easier to do that. Funny enough, the key, like where it says what to stitch with what color, says that it has full crosses and half crosses, but when I look at the picture of the model closely, everything is full cross. So whoever stitched this model did not make any difference between full cross and half cross. It's just all full cross, which I think looks great. So that's what I'm doing. I'm stitching everything full cross, and let's see where that goes. And as you can see, this has a ton of backstitch. This whole door and in the flowers up here and down here, and it also has French knots. I've only done French knots once before, so I will definitely need to practice that. Let's see how this goes for me. And I'm not particularly fond of backstitch, but I don't mind it very much either, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna be fine. And this one also lives in a project bag I made. This was my first that I showed in one of my previous Flosstubes. It was my prototype. I did this with a really cheap fabric, but it worked out fine. So I decided to keep doing that. Next one. This is also a very tiny new start. I also like these zippers are very silent. They are not obnoxious at all. Is this one. It's also from a magazine, which I have not written down because I've had this one kitted up for a while, sitting in my stash. And I just started it one of these days when I thought, yeah, let's do a tiny. So if I get to look through all of the magazines again and figure out which one this is from, then I will make a note of that. So I have started with this middle one. I think it's this way around actually. I don't know. This is how far I am doing the border. And I'm doing them on this slightly glittery Ada. I think there's a name for these, which I do not know because those are the fabrics that I got from that one eBay seller who sells like stacks of fabric, leftovers and such. And this also lives in a project bag that I made last week. Let me have this like this. And I thought I'd make it a little bit more fancy by sewing this thing on here and these little things. And this is the back of it. It looks very crinkly because this fabric did not want to get ironed. I think I ironed it for a whole of 20 minutes and it still looks like this. This was a this fabric. This was a pillowcase that I found at a flea market. And I said, I like this one. I want to make a project bag out of it. So I did. And that is the project bag. Just a plain blue fabric inside. And a few dangly bits here. And I was like, yeah, this is because this is very summery and very beachy. And let's just put these ones inside. I think that fits well. So my last new start, this is something that I worked on a lot already in the past 3 days from when I started it. Sorry about the zipper. I have not printed out the cover, so I'm gonna put the picture what it's gonna look like here. And this one is from my own shop. It's one that I charted. There are a few of these, so if you like them, do feel free to take a look, see if you find your favorite. And I'm actually stitching this one with my friend Dobby from Covered in Floss. We choose one of the 9 that I made, and both of us liked this one the best, so that's the one we chose. And she was very kind and sent me her whole stash of this 25 count Ada that I've never worked with before. So this doesn't wash out. I always thought that with these easy grid they do wash out. But since I'm gonna put that in a paper and then in a frame once I finished, or maybe I'll even put it in a hoop, but I personally like the square frames better, so I'll probably just put paper around it and then put it in a hoop. Not a hoop, a frame once it's done. But this is where I'm at. Sitting at, I think 2.9% currently, or 2.9%. So this is stitching up very fast. And I've worked on it for 3 days. So this is also not too big of a project. So this is the whole size and around, so you can see. This will fit on this piece of fabric. So if you want to join us in stitching this tonight, you can get it in my shop. The link is down below. I'd love to have more people join us. Maybe you want to, feel free. But yes, this is where it's like. I'm doing this a little bit of cross-country-ish, mostly because I don't have all of the colors yet. I think I'm missing 5 colors for it, which I've ordered, which should arrive soon. And I don't... I'd say I don't want to get too far ahead of Dobby, who's currently not able to start it. But since she is way faster, because she has way less projects than me, I think I can get a bit ahead without too much trouble. But yes, that's that's all for my projects. Let me just put them back on the chair so the cats don't play with them. So this is editing Zen here. We know me. Past me has, of course, forgotten one project, as is customary in some of my updates. This time I totally forgot this because it is in this box, and my notes, like my little notebook, was lying on it. So I have also worked on this one. This is by Artisy. It's a little full coverage. And this is where I'm currently at. It's not very far, but since I'm trying to do this with the Royal Rose method, there is a lot of confetti in these trees, as you can see by all these hanging threads here. But I think it's gonna turn out so beautiful, and this is also one that I quite regularly get back to and do a little bit on it. But that was all. There's one more thing that I wanted to do. Give me a second. I will be right back because I totally forgot. So I did a giveaway for this one. You might remember. Unfortunately, the person who originally won did not get back to me. I do not know if they are a follower or not, which I think I forgot to mention. So if you want to join in my giveaways when I do them, please be a follower, because I'm doing them for you. So since the person who originally won this did not get back to me, there was a second one of you who was interested in this. I'm gonna put your comment up here. Let me see, I did write down your name. Give me a moment, I'm gonna check. Stitching Ginny. I'm gonna put a screenshot of your comment right here. So if you see this and if you are still interested, please send me an email. I will put my email down below, and I will send this to you instead. If I do not hear back from you until my next video, which should be in around 2 weeks, then I will put this one up for grabs again. And I will just give it to the first person who emails me, who is a follower preferably. I mean, because I cannot check. I can only check for those of you that do have a channel yourself. And I personally do not want to go and check if you're actually a follower. I trust that you are, if you're here and take part in this. But for now, Stitching Ginny, if you see this, please send me an email. This will be yours, and I'm gonna send this to you instead. But that was it for stitching. So thank you all for watching, if this was all that you were interested in. And I hope I will see you next time. Otherwise, I do not have that much to say in regards to live updates. We have pretty much been busy, and as well we have been hibernating a little because we are in another heat wave here, and unlike the last one, it is also extremely humid. So we have had humidity levels of almost 90%. And while I am used to higher humidity in the house, we usually go between 60 and 70% because, as you can see, we have a lot of plants. 90 is extreme, especially when it's 30 degrees outside. We do not get 30 degrees inside, thankfully. Our flat usually stays around 24, 25 max if we close the blinds around midday. So that is fine, but we do not have air conditioning. No, is it air conditioning? We don't have an AC. So that's not common here in Germany because usually our summers aren't this extreme. So we haven't been able to do much the past few days because it was just unbearably hot. And before that, it has been raining non-stop. So we haven't tried out our boat yet. Still, we are hoping we will get an opportunity next week when it cools down a little before it starts being rainy season again. Otherwise, we will have to wait until next year. We'll see. We will figure something out. And other than that, we were at a family barbecue last weekend, which was great. We had a lot of fun. The weather was really nice. Fortunately, because it was right in these days of constant rain and everything was just dark and dreary. And we got there at around late midday, early afternoon. We got to my parents' place and it had just stopped raining. And when we got to my aunt and uncle's house, who were hosting the barbecue, the sun came out and it was almost too hot to sit outside in the sun because there were no sunshades because we hadn't expected it to be this sunny. But it was lovely. Almost everyone was there, and I don't see my extended family that often, so it was really great to see everyone, my aunts and uncles and my cousins and their children. That was really nice. So that was good. And this weekend we are just staying home. Like it is, I didn't say earlier, it's Sunday today. It's the 20th of August. We're just staying home because it's too hot to do anything really. And next weekend will be an art market, so I still got stuff to do for that, which I'm gonna get back to tomorrow when the weekend's over. And I also got a lot of stuff to do for the Dungeons and Dragons games that I run. I have one on Tuesday, and we are going to start our new game with our Sunday group next week. I think this week we're gonna do the preparations, as in next Sunday, and the week after that I think we're gonna start, which is also cool. I'm looking forward to that a lot. And but yes, other than that, it's basically just work and hobbies and cross stitch, and not much happening in this house usually, which is okay. It's better to have nothing happen than to have bad things happen, I suppose. So I hope you've all been well, and please stay safe and stay healthy until we see each other next time. I'll try to be back in around 2 weeks. Let's see, August will be over in... Oh, this is the... I have two computers in front of me, so I tend to grab the wrong mouse. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a video at the end of August, so that would be in 1.5 weeks. Let's see if that works out time-wise for me. And then I can give the new month a clean start and try to start with the note-taking so that I have better notes for September. We will see. I'll keep you posted if that's something that interests you. But until then, have a good day, a rest of your weekend. If you're watching this today, otherwise, have a good time. Get lots of stitching done, as we say, and we will see each other hopefully next time. Bye.